Welcome to video number 2. If you've watched so far, you're beginning to realize my purpose here. I'm talking about the penile prosthesis as it relates to Peyronie's disease and the secrecy around this so-called remedy.
Actually, Rob, real quick, one thing that I thought of during the first one, I think you can even relax a little bit more. You know, like when you're reading it.
Okay.
Like, don't feel like you have to get it exactly right off all the words right, and just, I think, let yourself, let it flow just a little bit more. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'll try.
Yeah, no, it might be hard, but that's putting on my director's hat
Maybe
a
I'll,
little bit to try.
yeah, maybe
try
I'll
to get the
try and
best
lighten it
performance.
up a little bit.
Yeah. But you can,
because I do get a little intense sometimes.
Yeah, well, and part of it too is that's part of what this is you're reading off a piece of paper, and people know that, and so they're going to expect that. But the more it comes across as oh, he's talking to me from his own personal experience, unless he's reading off of a piece of paper to me, the more connection that they're going to have with it.
I'll try it.
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Just go ahead. Welcome to video number 2. If you've watched so far, you're beginning to realize my purpose here. I'm talking about the penile prosthesis as it relates to Peyronie's disease and the secrecy around this so-called remedy. To bring the issue clearer, let me give you an illustration. There was a time in medicine when just about any child who had a bout with sore throats was a candidate to have his tonsils removed. This happened to my brother. They talked him into having his tonsils removed with arguments, actually sales talk like these. You'll be able to eat all the ice cream and Jell-O you want. Also, it will hardly hurt you at all. And there was talk that the doctor would never hurt a little boy, and that he would never have a sore throat again. Well, my brother had the tonsillectomy. When it was over, his advice to me was, don't ever let this happen to you. It hurts worse than anything you can imagine. As for the ice cream, I couldn't have eaten any if I wanted to. It was all a lie, from the ice cream to the doctor. I've had the penile prosthesis. I can tell you, it's not what you're led to believe. I might be the only penile prosthesis recipient you will ever hear who realizes he made a big mistake with this operation. That's because no one else is willing to admit to a mistake of this size regarding such a private matter. And that's what keeps things as they are. I'm going on record to say that I would give anything that I have if I could just have the decision to make over again. And I'm offering you a balanced view of this surgery to offset the wave of corporate-sponsored cheerleaders who monopolize the testimonies. I'll give you the truth as I see it and have experienced it, all in hopes of doing my neighbor a favor. Now let me talk about the Peyronie sufferer's psychological state. We must realize that when a man has a condition involving his penis, usually he goes into a couple of psychological states. The first is fear. Fear that he will lose his sexual life. Fear that he might lose his partner. Fear for his manhood. The next stage is denial, at least to some extent, to allow the emotional system to absorb these fears. It's been my experience that a doctor, wanting to do surgery, uses these states of mind to his advantage to some degree. He's only human. You represent a substantial paycheck to him, a real chance to be a hero, if he can get you to conclude that surgery is the only solution. This is why he will not suggest any effective alternative methods of cure. He wants to be the one to fix it. Hear me very carefully. You must become your own physician here. Make your own decision, because the doctor is hedged towards surgery and the scalpel. This doesn't mean he's a bad guy, just that he knows only one way to make a living, and it isn't by allowing someone else to cure your disease by another method. Denial is such an important component of Peyronie's disease. Depending on what role your sexuality plays in your self-image of your manhood, Peyronie's disease will put you in a state of denial about what is happening to your penis. This puts the man in a very vulnerable state. Symptoms of denial are 1, simply not thinking about it, 2, putting off any personal research or appointments, 3, waiting for a spontaneous cure, or 4, avoiding sex or even talk about sex, etc. The dangerous thing about denial regarding Peyronie's disease is that it too easily shifts the issue onto a specialist whom you think knows what he is doing. If this happens, you can be steered into something that is the opposite of what you should be doing. For example, if you've been talked into using a vacuumed erective device with a ring, or having as much sex as you can, taking vitamin E, or taking dangerous injections, or considering surgery, these are all wrong solutions. All but the vitamin E makes the situation worse, perhaps drastically worse. The rule must be anything that injures the delicate tissue in your penis is destructive and counterproductive to getting better. This includes shots, surgery, and VED pressure with a ring. You must avoid these at all costs. About 3 weeks after my prosthesis surgery, I came out of denial. What got me back into reality was looking every day at a shorter, crooked penis along with the irreversibility of the operation. It's been a reality show ever since, with depression, headaches, rash, and ringing ears, and the absolute torture of realizing that there are several methods of curing Peyronie's disease without surgery. And when I did come out of denial, I realized the doctor had sold me a tragic bill of goods at the expense of my penis. At that point, I was seeing clearly. Now I did the research I should have done earlier, rather than rely upon the specialist. It was then that I realized all the information the doctor had at his disposal but didn't offer. Why? He wanted to do the surgery, simple as that. If he just offered what he knew about the surgery, I'd have never consented, never. He knew that, and as per human nature, he withheld the facts that would have steered me to a real cure. Because I trusted him, I now have a smaller, crooked penis, headaches, tension, tinnitus, incurable rash, and clinical depression. In fact, after coming out of denial, I saw so many things after the surgery. First, I was mad at my doctor for not giving me all the information I needed. Then I realized I'd simply been hoodwinked. So let's go over my mistakes in hope that you don't make them. My first mistake was not getting second and third opinions for 2 and 3 doctors. The reason is that one of them might have suggested an alternative that I never found. Another reason is that you will learn how little doctors know about this condition. Medical doctors are experts at 2 solutions to a condition: prescription drugs and surgery. This is their specialty, this is their training, and no surgeon will go against his training. So your means of correcting Peyronie's disease without surgery will not come from a typical doctor. Cure exists, but only outside the medical buildings. My next mistake was unavoidable, one that I'm trying to get you to realize. That is, we, the victims, don't have the knowledge to deal with Peyronie's disease. So we go into the situation dumb as a stone. We are so dumb we don't even know the questions we should ask. That is why listed on the website www.pdselfcure.com, there are 19 questions you should learn and ask of your specialists. Without these, you are merely putty in their hands. Copy the questions and take them to the appointments with you. In response to these questions, your doctor won't answer the questions very well. This is because his training has not given him the answers you have, and you'll realize how little he knows about Peyronie's disease and treatment. If you go through this surgery, you will find out many things the doctor won't tell you. In my case, they've been quite bad. And the tragic part is that all of this was unavoidable. My mistake was that I trusted a doctor who wanted to perform his skill and training. I was a fool. Don't be like me. If this video is helping, go on to video number 3.